Saludos, soy María del Carmen González desde el cuartel de Vallajá en el Viejo San Juan. A temprana edad, un maestro le dijo a Arturo Alfonso Schomburg que la diáspora africana en las Américas no aportaba nada a la cultura. Esto lo motivó a probar que la premisa no era correcta y decidió demostrar la importancia de la cultura africana en la cultura hispana y estadounidense. Figura clave en el movimiento cultural del Renacimiento de Harlem, Schomburg comenzó lo que hoy día es una institución cultural líder en el mundo dedicada a la investigación, preservación, igualmente a la exhibición de materiales centrados en las experiencias afroamericanas de la diáspora. Kevin Matthew, director adjunto de operaciones del Centro Schomburg, nos habla de Arturo.
The collection that Arturo Alfonso Schomburg brought here was really about the African diaspora, and he was among the very first to really talk about how all of these people who were dispersed from the African continent are linked. He was not just a collector and someone who was a bibliophile or someone who loved this material. He was very much an activist. He was a person of commitment. This was his life's passion, this collection, and his wish was for it to be made public. He wanted the public here in Harlem and around the world to have access to this collection. That's why it's here at a public research center. Well, his family grew up in Puerto Rico. He knew that the name Schomburg and that his father's family had come from Germany. So even as a child, he understood what immigration and migration was. He really also understood what transatlantic slavery was. Arturo Schomburg's mother was English-speaking from St. Croix. So in the summers, as a boy, he would travel to her home. So he actually saw different branches of the African root as a child. He began his collecting because he was looking for vindicating evidences that there really was culture and history and heroes among the people of African descent. I'm one of those people who grew up always understanding that we were linked in some way. My best friend in middle school and high school, still my best friend. He was the best man at my wedding. I'm godfather of his child. This is Jose. So my godson is Jose Antonio, and they live in Puerto Rico. So we grew up in New York City together, and we spent a lot of time together as teenagers and as young men. We loved the same music, we listened to. So my favorite music in the world is salsa. And I don't speak Spanish, but we both were trombone players at the time, so that music is part of my life. So I understood that this was part of who I was as a person. He was a strong believer in the slave narratives because he believed that people who were either formerly enslaved, had escaped it, had been part of it, had run from it, had the best way of telling that history, not from other people. He wanted the personal narrative. And I think that Latinos, Puerto Ricanos, and African Americans, we are all in the same place where we must tell our own narrative. But we have to understand that our narratives cross. You know, we talk about finding our path in life. As a child, I was told that in order to understand my path in life and to find it, I had to understand the path of people who walked before us. We need to know what path we're going to find, but we have to understand our history, what it means to us, and remember that these paths cross. Latinos and African Americans, and also indigenous people, we are the non-Western people. We were the ones who in many cases were here first or were brought here. We should have no argument, no critique of each other. Our lives are intertwined and they always have been.